Hey guys, and thank you all so much for joining me for this episode of Gullah Talk. We are changing it up a bit this week, and we are not doing a Gullah language lesson, but I have a special guest who is joining me right here on the couch to talk about what it means to be married to Gullah Geechee. This is going to be a real conversation and one you do not want to miss, so stay tuned. Welcome. I have my very special guest sitting next to me today, the one, the only, Mr. Wilmont Berry. For those of you who do not know, this is my handsome, my husband, the one and only Wilmont Berry. He is a local realtor here in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I'll let him tell you a little bit about what he does.
Oh, I like what you were doing. You know, that sounded real good to me. So, but yeah, like she said, I'm a local realtor here in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Love what I do. I help people reach their real estate goals. And I'm here to be on this amazing show, Gullah Talk. And I'm super excited. I feel honored to be here.
I'm excited to have him as my first guest. And I thought, why not talk about his experience being married into Gullah as a non-Gullah Geechee native. I think he has some things to share about.
Oh man, I got a story to tell today. Oh boy,
about what his experience has been being married to Gullah. So Wilma, let's start all the way back from the beginning.
Oh boy,
we met at Winthrop University.
The Woo.
Yeah. In 2006, he saw me, and
that's what happened. I saw her. It was over. But while he was at Winthrop, he experienced Gullah maybe for like the first time. Can you share with them a little bit about what your experience was hearing people from Charleston and hearing the Gullah language? Yeah. I remember the first time. Well, not the first time I heard it, but I remember like I wasn't exposed to it, in high school a lot. So when I came to college and was around people that was from Charleston, and I didn't know they were from Charleston, but I just heard the accent, and I started hearing people talk the way they talk, and I was like, man, where are they from? Like, I was like, man, this is college, man. They're from overseas somewhere.
Where did you think they were from?
Jamaica or like the Bahamas or someplace, because like, when you come to college, you meet people from different places, and I did meet some people from Bahamas. And I did meet people from, from other places, but like I didn't realize the people that were speaking Gullah was just so close by, so I thought it was cool.
That is cool. I mean, especially that he lives in Orangeburg, which is only about 45 minutes away from Charleston, but just to know that like his awareness of like, wait, that sounds different really didn't come until about college. And something else that he said, to rewind a little bit, he said that we sounded like we were from Jamaica. I think we get that a lot. I remember growing up and people would be like, where are you from? You from an island? You from Jamaica? You from Bahamas? Where you from? And so he sort of had the same understanding.
Because, it sounded similar, and I didn't know. So being ignorant, I asked the question, you from Jamaica or someplace, so, but, they informed me that they were from Charleston. I was like, man, wow, that's a common thing that I was noticing, that a lot of people had the Gullah language from Charleston. So
absolutely. And we kind of stuck together, right? So on campus, all the Charleston people knew all the Charleston people. But tell them a little bit like what made you, I would say, we're married now. So there was something about me as a Gullah woman. What is that thing you think that drew you into me as a Gullah person, or for us to be together?
That's kind of a hard question just to put like that. But what drew me to you, first of all, I heard you sing. I remember the first time I saw my wife. I didn't know it was going to be my wife, but the first time I saw her was at a talent show. And so I didn't hear Gullah while she was singing. But when I got to know her, I started noticing, those certain Gullah tendencies coming out through your, when we were talking. So like, but one of the things I did enjoy was, I thought it was attractive. I thought the language was attractive.
So,
and I think that's an important point, because sometimes Gullah people hide how they speak and how they sound, because the overall perception is not that a lot of people think it's attractive, but people think, well, it's broken English and y'all shouldn't be talking like that. But I thought it was beautiful that he found my language attractive so much so that we ended up getting married, and now he's married into this culture. So let's talk about that just a little bit. Kind of
married to Gullah.
Married to Gullah. So now he's in this thing, right? And he's around all of my family and all of my Gullah Geechee people. What can you tell them about what stands out to you as what was really unique about my Gullah family compared to sort of how your family was raised, or how you were raised?
Well, like you said, it's the culture, it's the family, it's the faith, it's the food, family, faith, food.
That's good. That's good. It's the family, faith, and food. So let's talk about family. What did you notice about my family that was different than maybe some of the things your family did?
Well, I just think you got a singing family. Your mama sing, your daddy's side sing. I remember at Christmas, I will never forget that Christmas. I came over. You know how you trying to get in good with the family and everything, and it was around that time of the year. But during the holidays, when I went and spent, I think it was like Christmas Eve or something like that.
Christmas Eve.
And man, they just burst out in song, and you can tell that culture. Faith was in that culture. Christ was in that culture. It was just so much. It was love in that culture. It was food in that culture. So y'all just express yourselves in so many different ways that I just really learned to love being a part of the Gullah family.
Yeah, and so coming into that, you talked about family and us singing and coming together. That's amazing. Let's pivot a little bit to faith. I mean, because you attended services at my hometown church, Stewart Chapel United Methodist. Shout out to the chapel. What'd you notice different? You also grew up in a United Methodist church.
I sure did.
But can you tell me a little bit about what you thought was different from your church compared to the church in Charleston?
Well, what comes to mind is the beat.
Oh.
We would sing the same similar songs, but y'all would do it at a different beat or a different clap than we would. Ours was a little bit slower. Theirs were a little bit more upbeat and with a double clap.
With a double clap.
Where the tree and the hole and the hole and the ground and the green grass grows all around and the green grass grows on that tree.
Double clap.
So, and that was different for you.
That was way different from us.
You see his face?
Yeah, it was way different.
That was way different.
Way different. Yeah.
I mean, and imagine that 45 minutes down the road, growing up in a United Methodist church, both of us, but the sound. There's a sound associated with that, right?
The sound. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's what makes it unique. With the way you pronounce certain words and you go up in certain ways compared to where I might stay, on the same level. Y'all go up, and it means it has a heightened, meaning to it or something. So yeah,
I think that's interesting, and the reason why we want to have this conversation today, because being married he's really focused in and really thought about some of the different nuances. So we talked about family, we talked about faith. Let's talk a little bit about food. Let's talk a little bit about food, because I think Gullah food is one of the things also that really makes it distinct and unique from other African American cultures. Now, when we met, he didn't eat oysters, y'all.
I didn't. My mom ate oysters, but I didn't partake.
It was a crime. It was a tragedy.
Yeah, I didn't think that was tasty.
But over time, being married into Gullah, you sort of adopted some of our traditions. Can you tell them a little bit about the ones that are your favorite when it comes to food?
Well, I dig the oysters. I can do the clusters, or I can do the singles. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't do the same. She don't do the singles.
I don't do the singles.
But I do both. You do them steamed. I do them steamed too, but I can also do them raw.
That's bacteria, child. That's bacteria.
But you know what's so funny? Tell them about the R, right? And it's so funny, right? Because I'm like, what in the world that got to do with eating oysters?
Yeah, because we were told that you only eat oysters in the month that end in Aura.
R. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought that was weird, but I was like, what's going on? But they were telling me about the bacteria in the water, but I don't know how true that is. But I eat oyster, don't matter if it's in it or not. But I know they don't eat oyster unless it's in it or. So like
the months that end in R.
November,
because it's
December.
Typically cold. It's typically colder,
Yeah,
so you know that the temperatures of the water are lower,
absolutely.
so it decreases the chances of bacteria.
Yeah.
But that's definitely Gullah for you. He didn't know that until he was
I didn't know that.
married into Gullah.
Yeah.
Right? So we talk about oysters. What about crabs? You do those?
Oh yeah, I do the crab. But you know, growing up in Orangeburg, we did crab legs.
Wah, 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 wah.
Now don't get me wrong. So my mom, like I said, we would eat seafood every once in a while, but it wasn't something we did on a regular. You know,
and I think that's one of the major distinctions is because he's from a more inland area that they eat more, you know, steaks and
we
pork chops.
We shoot them in the field.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Bring them back. You know that deer, that venison. You don't know nothing about that venison.
No, well I do, but I just don't eat it.
You know, steak, beef. You know, pork.
So they ate what was available to them, very similar to Gullah.
Absolutely.
We ate what was available to us, which just happened to be mostly items from the sea.
Yeah. Now we fish,
right?
But it wasn't like we was catching shrimp and crab and oyster. You know, we was catching bass and brim, and that kind of fish, freshwater.
And we have saltwater.
Absolutely.
So being married in, he was kind of introduced to it. I would be like, I want spot tail bass.
And I
want a spot.
And every time,
and white.
Every once in a while, we'll get spot. Now we get white. You know, white was one of them things.
Fresh.
Not fresh white.
Now see, we got fresh off the boot.
Right. Yeah, we didn't get that fresh white like that. So it was we had to go fishing to get the fresh white. So
So he's pointed out for us some of the differences in his growing up in faith, family food. Let's talk a little bit about my jam, which just happens to be Gullah language. Because I think Gullah language is probably one of the key things that makes it unique and distinct, right? Like he said, it had a sound. Like when he heard it, he was like, wait, that's something different. So even though we know the food is different and the faith is different and the culture is different, when you hear it, you recognize that it is different from how other Black people speak.
It is.
So he's been kind of enveloped in the culture for a while. We've been married for 10 years.
Yeah, going on 11.
Going on 11 years. So he's been around this for a while. Tell us, what might be some of your favorite Gullah Geechee words or phrases?
Well, the one that comes to mind, and I hope I pronounce it right.
Just say it like you said. He been practicing. He has had 11 years to figure this out. So let's see.
And the one is ear booty. Did I say that right? Ear booty. Now you can't, not everybody, but ear booty.
Ear body.
Ear booty. Ear booty. There you go. Ear booty.
He liked that one. Why does that stick out to you?
I don't know. That's the one I think about the most. Ear booty. That's it. I said it. Ear booty. Yeah.
He's been practicing that.
Ear booty.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Gullah emerging.
But the phrase
that
I love, and I think I heard your dad say this. He said, "That dog a hunt," or "That dog ain't gonna hunt." That dog a hunt, or that dog ain't gonna hunt. So,
and he says, my dad, he does like to say that. And it originated from what I understand is the hunters in my family, which a lot of them would go out hunting, and it would be certain dogs that wasn't going to hunt that day or whatever. But we've kind of flipped the phrase. And so when you say that dog a hunt, that means it's real good.
It's good.
That's going to work.
You eating something good, that dog a hunt.
That dog a hunt.
That dog a hunt right there.
But if it's not good, that dog ain't a hunt.
That dog ain't a hunt right there.
And so you can even hear how the difference we say, because he said that dog ain't gonna hunt, and we said that dog ain't gonna hunt. Inga.
So I ain't figure that out right there.
He's still learning. So he had two air body, and that dog ain't gonna hunt. You had any others?
That dog ain't gonna hunt. Those are my two favorites.
Those are two favorites.
Like, when I think about it, but when I'm around y'all, I just try to imitate. I just feel part of the family when I can imitate them when they're in the kitchen, they're talking, and I just hear them and I just repeat what they said, you know. So
out of everybody in my family, you've been around a lot and you've heard us talking, and you know when we get together, it's on. Like we don't go off. It's on.
Y'all go in. Yeah.
We go in. Who do you understand the least in my immediate family when we all in our Gullah vibe?
Oh, your daddy.
Daddy, what you just said?
I don't take no pushing your ugly face.
Mr. Don Richardson. Yeah, if you're watching out there, sir.
The big DR.
The DR. The DR.
Why do you feel like you understand him the least?
I think it's the speed, because I think he talks fast in Gullah, and I ain't advanced in Gullah. So I think because he talks with so much speed, I might not understand everything he might be saying.
And so can you tell him, like, when my daddy be talking to you in Gullah, how you be responding?
Yeah. Yeah.
He just bust out laughing. We'd be like, no, he didn't say nothing funny.
Yeah.
So we have to spend a lot of time. Sometimes we have to translate it. We have to ask my daddy, say it again. What did you say? Sometimes it's been hard for us to understand. But being married in the Gullah sometimes means that when you come around Gullah people and we really get comfortable in our Gullah zone, it is hard for people, even those married in 10, 11 years in, to understand some of what we're saying. They have to really listen pretty close.
Yeah. But it's so good, though. Being around your family, seeing how they talk, and I'm just observing, seeing, you know, how they family just really come together and they talk to each other, not trying to be proper or whatever like that, switch on and switch off. But it's just real cool to see that down there. I enjoy it every time I go down there and hear it. So yeah.
And that's the thing. When you do go down to the low country area, it's like you're gonna hear people using and speaking Gullah in the grocery store to each other. You see people that you know, and you hear it, and it's all around. And I think what's beautiful is being married into it. I think he's developed over time like a major respect for the culture and the language and the land and how beautiful it is. You want to speak to that a little bit?
You know, it's just, after you've been down there, you understood, what's behind the history behind it, understanding the culture of the people. It's beautiful, and I appreciate it with so much now. Living and married to this beautiful woman right here, it really makes me appreciate it so much more. Seeing her educate people on it that might become yes. And see that
he learned, he be listening,
and just seeing how she can educate them so that they can make and understand Gullah and respect Gullah. So
and that's important.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. And I think that's what's been beautiful is the respect that he's had for us and our culture and our people. He's never made fun of us and how we talk. He's always been intrigued, and we try to do the same with our kids.
Absolutely.
Right. We got two girls.
Two beautiful girls. Savannah and Journey.
Yeah. And they've grown up around Gullah. Because they're my kids. Of course, they're going to lay claim to Gullah Geechee identity, but they don't speak the language because they've grown up here in Orangeburg. But they've been immersed in it. They've heard it. They hear it all the time. We go to Charleston all the time.
They understand it.
And they understand it.
Yeah.
And I've recognized that. I'm like, oh, we go down and they don't ask my daddy or my mama really to repeat much of anything. They know exactly what they're saying.
Absolutely.
And I'll also catch the baby Journey sometimes. She said, well, I'll say it in Gullah Geechee. Like they're interested in Gullah Geechee. And they say, Mama, you Gullah Geechee. Like they know that. So I'm pretty proud that he could be married into this culture and understand the importance of passing that down.
Absolutely.
To our kids.
I'm very, very thankful that I got exposed to Gullah like the way I am, not just being distant from it. I know sometimes when you're distant from it and you're not immersed in it, it can kind of just be when I come there, I hear it, they talk some kind of way, but I really feel like I'm a part of the family.
You are.
Yeah.
They've embraced him.
Yeah.
They know if he get that look on his face, what that look is. Well, you don't understand? When he got that right there, people, we understand that he don't know, and we got to go and translate just a little bit. Okay, so Wilmont, there is a young man somewhere at a university in South Carolina who has bumped up on this young woman who is from Charleston. Gotta get you down to the sauce. What is your advice to this young man as he endeavors to court this Gullah woman and try to be married in the Gullah?
Oh, wow. Well, I guess do what you normally do, when you're pursuing a young lady. First of all, when you're pursuing a young lady, do what you normally do, but just understand that, like, it's deep. Like, she's rich in culture and heritage, and just realize, like, man, like, don't be fooled by the language, or whatever. But I was, like I said, I was intrigued by it, and then also I thought it was attractive as well, to have a young Black educated woman but spoke the language. Man, pursue that young woman, man. One thing I will say about my wife that I think a lot of people don't know, she's humble, right? She's really humble. I know, and she has all these degrees, like more than a thermostat,
Stop.
But she's humble, and I think that's one of the most attractive things about her. She's humble, but also she's intelligent. She knows her stuff. Don't try her.
Oh yeah.
Don't do that. So, but yeah, I man, do it, bro. If you like it, go ahead and pursue it.
Now, would you tell him to eat red rice?
If you like it, eat it.
You eat it?
I don't eat red rice like that. I know that's a sin in Charleston, but
because we eat rice with
everything.
But
I just don't eat the red rice like that, though.
It's a travesty, guys.
Just give me my white
10
rice.
10 years in the game.
Or my yellow rice.
And he still don't eat red rice.
Hey,
that's how you know he married the Gullah. He ain't Gullah, but he married in.
You're right. Absolutely. I eat oyster, though. And I do.
He came over to the side. He came over to our side.
So at least I do that. What I'm saying?
You do. Yeah. And he does it very, very, very well. Yeah. I want to thank my man, Mr. Wilmont Berry, the best realtor in Orangeburg, for joining me on the couch today and just talking about what it means to be married to somebody who's Gullah and sharing all of your insights. I think it's invaluable, and I'm excited for this stage that I get to talk with people. This is the first video where I've had a special guest, but I look forward to having many, many, many more join me on the couch to share their perspectives and their interactions and their thoughts and opinions about what it means to be Gullah. That's why we do Gullah Talk. Got it? So can you tell the people where they can find you, follow you, and support you as you get people into their new homes across South Carolina?
Wow. So first of all, thank you so much for allowing me to be on your show, Gullah Talk. I really appreciate the opportunity on your platform. And I support everything that you're doing. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Precious.
Yeah, man. But you can find me on majority of social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. You can find me on YouTube as just put in Wilmont Berry. The Berry Group, brokered by eXp Realty. I'm gonna say that one more time. The Berry Group, brokered by eXp Realty. And then also you can find me on Facebook as well, Wilmont Berry, the Berry Group, brokered by eXp Realty, and the same thing for Instagram, the Berry Group the Berry _ group on Instagram as well. So
go check him out, follow him, know that he is married to me, and he is a huge supporter of Gullah Geechee people. So if you are in Charleston and moving to Orangeburg, or Orangeburg and moving to Charleston, he is your guy. Thank you guys so much for joining this episode of Gullah Talk. I really hope you enjoyed it. I want you to drop down in the chat what was your favorite part of this session, what you enjoyed. And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday on the next episode of Gullah Talk. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
See you next time. I gladly for see Anna. And I hope I can see Anna again. Are.